Yeah, I'm your Black Lex today, baby. Now you ain't never gotta like me, that shit is overrated. You need a hero to love, I'll be the villain that you hated. When it's all said and done, you gon' love me. Me kissing babies, fucking ladies thinking of me. Cause I'm the villain, the bad guy, the one that's supposed to lose. But I'm American, baby, so the rules all skewed for me. Steal your identity, fuck up your credit for free. Police know it's stolen, but they still make you pay the fee. And you don't respect me, for real? I'm the one that's showing you what the real world is. All these backroom deals for your kids' future. My financial aid hustle keep your kids mooching. And while you motherfuckers still stupid, the Statue of Liberty married the country, divorced and now the bitch still moving. With half of the money, alimony, child support. You know what's up when I be winning in the court, cause I'm the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, H-N-I-C, everybody wants to be. Damn right, I'm the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, H-N-I-C, everybody wants to be. They try to tell me thou shalt not steal. In the same church they tell me Jesus white, is they for real? They try to say the land of the free, minus the slavery, plus the fact that you pay for land these folks stole for free. And you wanna be Superman. Did you forget that Lex Luthor became the president? You lacking common sense, that's why the villain lives. That's why the villain's right. They turn on Superman, man, they turn on Jesus Christ. Even the devil got teams, like Arizona State, Duke, the state of Jersey. That man say you're sold and he can't get a jersey. Y'all go to church on Sunday and you claim you're worthy. That's why I got my credit and I'm charging 10%. You finish paying me and you gon' pay me triple, bitch. So why'd I be a hero when a villain gets paid? And women like paid, so the villain gets laid. So I'ma be the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, H-N-I-C, everybody wants to be. Damn right, I'm the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, H-N-I-C, everybody wants to be.
Welcome. This is about to get you know, that's actually in my playlist, man. This is about to be an interesting thing to me, because just from my vantage point, I'm gonna talk about why the dating advice thing is what it is now, and why red pill, quote unquote, content is what it is now. And if you see by the thumbnail, the first reason is obvious. It became lucrative. Nothing's wrong with that. But a lot of you men and women, y'all were looking for dating advice and mating advice, and guys are looking for, the red pill per se, or just in essence, what it started is people just trying to find out if what they're experiencing out in the dating market, is it just them or is it what's going on everywhere? Because it just seemed a little off. So that's how it started, because guys in different cities and different states were comparing notes, right? So that happened, and then after the notes got compared, guys started, telling you what to do in these type of situations, and you have to change your ideas and ideals and your dating and mating strategies, right? And then we had, people come along like, no, you don't have to do nothing. No, it's not like that. what you're doing already works, which was just getting guys used and abused as if they kept going down the same path. But what you started to see was this shift in this blame game. One second. All right, all right. I know I forgot something. But what you started to see was this shift in this blame game. And what happened was it got lucrative. And the best part about it being lucrative was people could gravitate to the messages that they wanted to hear. And those messages didn't have to be true. So for the most part, you had a market of people who told you the truth that you gravitated to, and you had a market of people who fed your ego and you gravitated to that. Sometimes y'all went back and forth, but usually you went one direction or the other. And people started to capitalize on that because if you didn't gravitate to the truth, or even not even just the truth, if you didn't gravitate to actually putting effort in, everybody could sell you a dream. You know, everybody could sell you a dream. So what happened was people just started selling people dreams because they could make money off of it. And everybody was falling for it. Some people were selling dreams on the red pill ideas, and some people were selling dreams under, blue pill ideals, but they were selling dreams nonetheless. You know. So now what we're seeing is kind of even a lot of the dating and mating advice, even though some of the top people who were doing that for a while, you see they kind of went into different avenues. And what I see is what's been going on the whole time. It's kind of like society, didn't catch up. And what I mean by that is you had people selling a dream and then saying, this other group is the enemy. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not true, right? But using that this group is the enemy thing, they pointed the finger at the other group. And the interesting thing that some of y'all got caught up in is you were getting dating advice from guys who were dating the kind of women they told you shouldn't date, and you kept going back over and over and over and over and over again because it was entertaining. And on the flip side, you had women who were giving dating advice, you know, to women about guys they would never date or could never date. But guess what? You had two groups of people making a good amount of money selling a dream. And then you would see it over and over and over again, whether it be red pill, whether it be divesting, whether it be hypergamy, whether it be what do you call that? Dating and mating strategy, whatever you want to call it, right? With all of these shows, and now, even and rest in peace to Kevin. And even after Kevin Samuels died, you saw people trying to emulate and imitate that. You're still seeing the reverberations or the remnants of Kevin Samuels' channel. You could put, you won't put passport bros. Okay, they were a thing like during the whole thing, actually, like in a red pill space. They just didn't have, it wasn't necessarily a name passport bros, but that was a thing the whole time. It just grew. I could say that it started growing in the last few years. But the issue became what? Now we have to get into the reality of this. What happened to dating advice was people who were giving dating advice knew, you know, knew for a fact whether they were giving you good advice or bad advice. They knew for a fact that a lot of y'all wasn't gonna go on dates. They already knew that because a lot of people were looking for dating advice. What's up, George? A lot of people out here looking for dating advice, but you wasn't going on dates. You were, well, you guys wasn't asking women on dates. You women wasn't getting asked on dates. Y'all were just out here listening to the internet, feeling yourselves. Was good. Feeling yourselves and feeling, more important than you actually were. And then you made you feel like you was better than whoever you was going to quote unquote want to talk to that you didn't talk to. So they already knew this because it had been years of this going on where guys talk all this stuff, but they're really not dating. And the interesting thing was for the men and women who were actually dating and out in the dating market and giving advice, people didn't listen to them as much as they listened to people who were just telling you, bad dating advice because they wasn't really dating. We gonna get into that too, Ray. And that became another thing. And that's what I mean by, there are people who gave you advice that wasn't really dating. Is what Ray said. There were men and women who gave you solid dating advice, but some of the people that y'all listened to, that y'all gravitated to, that it would entertain y'all, all they would do is listening to smaller content creators, smaller content creators who actually gave good advice, who they actually listened to, who they were actually subscribed to, and then they just used all of their information. They just use all of their information. And the irony of it is some of you men and women knew this material was regurgitated because these people would say it over and over. They get a little point and they say it over and over and over again. They get another little point and say it over and over and over again. And if you listen to them, you could tell that what they're saying doesn't match with who they are. But a lot of y'all just didn't. Y'all just went down that road. Y'all went completely down that road. And when I say, this is about to get ugly, it is. It is. Because one of the other things about what happened to dating advice is, like I said before, a lot of people knew y'all wasn't going to go out dating. And one of the major reasons people knew it is because there were a lot of unattractive people on the internet looking for an excuse to blame somebody else for their dating life. There were a lot of overweight people who didn't want to lose weight. There were a lot of people who had bad hygiene that didn't want to clean themselves up. There were a lot of people who didn't dress well, who didn't present themselves well, and they wanted to stay exactly how they were. And the dating advice they was getting, they knew it wasn't going to work for them because they wasn't going to put in the work. They wasn't going to do it at all. What's up, man? My bad, Dion. So now we got to play this game. Now we got to play this game that, I don't understand why this not working for me. Cool. I don't understand why it's not working for me. And when they say, I don't understand why it's not working for me, you know what it is. You see how George is a Temptations member, but he'll never be the lead singer. That's me. He can't never riff like Eddie Kane, But what winds up happening is you got guys, you got men and you got women playing this game. Like I'm the one. Like, you the one what? You the one what? What are you? I'm way better than I am. And you saw that. And you still see it over and over and over and over again. And nobody gets to the root of the problem because why fix the problem? And this is what happened to the dating advice. It got bad because people knew you didn't want to fix the problem. If you wanted to fix your dating life, the first thing you had to do is fix yourself. And the one thing that the like 9 out of 10 people wouldn't do, who was looking for good dating advice, they wouldn't fix themselves. They wouldn't do it. So after a while, you just got played. You just got played because these people knew you wasn't gonna do it. They knew it. And don't get it twisted. Some of these people really wanted to help y'all. They really, really did want to help y'all. But what happened was you didn't want to help yourself. So they said, man, F it. That's why you saw even back in the day, the vast majority, I ain't gonna say the vast majority. Well, I can say the vast majority now I think about it. The vast majority of female dating coaches who are online, the vast majority of them, if not all of them, all of the quote unquote good ones that gave good advice, even if we liked them or didn't like them, they all said they quit. It was like, I can't do this no more. They all said, I can't do this no more because, you ain't gonna fix yourself and you want to be lied to. That's what the lady said. The guys was like, man, we ain't gonna talk to these guys. We ain't finna talk to these guys. Because these guys really don't want to do nothing. And that's when it became a business. It became a business, and I got to go back. Because it became a business when people wanted consulting. People used to do consulting. A lot of people was doing consulting. They'll make these quote unquote red pill videos or these dating videos or dating advice videos, and then people would get at them. They would let me consult with you. What's going on? They would consult with you. They like, can I holler at you? Can I talk to you? Can I get your phone number? Can I get your email? Can I holler at you online? And then people started charging. And in that time of charging people got fed up. People started taking people's money, but they were fed up because you getting calls from the same persons over and over again. They asking you advice over and over again, and they're not following the advice over and over again, but they keep calling. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of people is like, man, look, man, I'm just taking these fools' money. Now, you gonna pay me for wasting my doggone time. I told you this 10 times in a row, and you call me back 10 times in a row, asking me the same exact question. You just gonna have to pay me. You're gonna keep paying. Now, forget all that, because you're not gonna listen. So, good dating advice wasn't really listened to. It wasn't followed through like that. But that bad stuff, oh man, y'all was all ears, man. A lot of y'all was all ears. And here's the thing. This red pill space per se, or the dating space on YouTube has been there for a decade and some change. So one of the other things about it was, even before YouTube would monetize videos, you would have this space, the dating space existed. The red pill space existed. The dating advice space existed. You know what I'm saying? And I got to rewind, because that's when they had the pickup artists. They had the pickup artists on YouTube, and the pickup artist was trying to teach you how to pick up women, and a lot of y'all, not a lot of y'all, because I'm sure y'all didn't participate in that at the time, but there were a lot of guys who really got suckered by pickup artists because they paying for this and paying for advice and paying for courses and paying for them to show you how to actually pick up a woman, and it never worked for them because the stuff they were doing was just out of pocket. So now you paying people and you're not getting results. And these people start going, well, you're the problem. It's like, no, you're not giving people good advice for who they are. And that's how, it kind of transformed and morphed into something else. Because pickup artists was making a lot of money and doing a lot of things having these meetups back in the day. And then, guys got fed up and it dropped off a cliff because they had people paying I think it was like events where people was paying like $1,500 and $2,500 to get taught how to pick up girls or pick up artists. It was crazy. But like I said, those guys knew back then, these guys ain't gonna do nothing with this advice. They're not. And they ain't giving them good advice anyways, because it's not tailor made to who they are. So that became an issue. So now you're online, and now you have people who have been online since then, a decade and some change, who still have the same exact dating problems. The same exact problems. You know, they got the same exact issues over and over and over and over again. It's like, yo. You 12 years into the same problem, man. You can't fix that. So now I'm gonna just milk you. That's really what's going on. I'm gonna just milk you. Like, and now when you see all of these, they're not necessarily quote unquote, they're relationship podcasts. You know, they're relationship podcasts where you got the men and the women basically doing what us guys in the Black manosphere were doing for years. You know, when they had Google Hangouts on this joint, you get a panel of men, a panel of women, and you would discuss what's going on in the dating market from your perspective, their perspective. Y'all make y'all points, let the audience decide which right and what's wrong. But so what you see is a lot of people now who are into this dating advice and what's really going on, and they're having the same conversations and the same issues and the same blow-ups, you know, in the same, you know, aha moments and the same gotcha moments. Same ones. But the men and the women involved in these things, it seems is decreasing that are actually out there. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean is there's less, you know, there's less guys who are in relationships, or, you know, they'll get less guys who got kids. You know, there are less girls who actually are out here actually dating. There's less women out here who actually want relationships, but they're having these discussions and they're doing these shows and they're doing and on these panels and doing these podcasts, and it's like, yeah, this ain't gonna work, but it's entertaining now. You know, so it's like, what's going on with this? Or how come nobody's talking about dating anymore? And people warned everybody about everything coming. People warn people about the price of the cost of living going up. People warn people about inflation. You know, people warned about the pandemic, and people warned how these things were going to affect the modern relationships. People warned about how the nightclub scene was dying. People warned about how dates are, you know, not really worth it anymore. People warned about, you know, the single mother thing, or the single, you know, or being a player or being a thought. I get it. It's not entertaining anymore. But what happens is people grew out of it. A lot of people grew out of it. But the problem with a lot of those people who grew out of being entertained by this by the bad dating advice is what? That means whether it was a year, whether it was 5 years, whether it was 10 years, you know, you spent all of that time being entertained, and you wasted all of that time. All of it. And now it's nothing to show for it. You know, and I'm not saying, you know, getting in a relationship makes you a winner in life. And if you're not in a relationship, that makes you a loser. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is this. People gave you ammunition to be single for life so they can have a subscriber. And a lot of people fell for it. A lot of y'all don't realize people aren't actually giving you good advice. You know, people aren't, I'm saying that wrong. A lot of y'all not realizing people are giving you bad advice on purpose because you're going to return to their page for views. That's what happened. Because the people who gave y'all good advice that actually works, if you use the advice and it works, they expected you to not come back on a regular basis. That was the difference between what happened to the dating advice. When people gave good advice, they expected you to not come. They expected you to try it, see if it worked for you, and if it worked for you, move on to the next thing. But a lot of folks, y'all didn't want to try it. So guess what? You got bad advice over and over and over again, and you've been subscribed over and over and over again. You've watched the algorithm put the same people in your feed over and over and over again, and I'm not taking shots at anybody. I'm just saying what I've seen. All right, because there's some people who are huge who give good advice, and there's some people who are huge that give bad advice. So don't get it twisted. But what happened was, once people was making money, the algorithm is not necessarily algorithm. People ran to what they wanted to hear the most. And that's not a problem. But you gotta actually say, okay, I went this direction because this is what I wanted to do. This is what I liked. And as old school people would say, just because you can do something, it doesn't mean you should do something. But people did it anyway, right? So that being said, it's a reason why you're not gonna get any good advice anymore. Right. Appreciate that, Vince. So now we're at a interesting point, an interesting point in time. Because now, and you gotta give credit where credit is due, because Kevin's show blew up because of this. And this is what I mean when I say you gotta give credit where credit is due. Kevin started out talking to the men, and then he blew up talking to the women. But Kevin did something that a lot of other dating shows or advice people who did advice didn't do, in my opinion. Kevin was able to deal with every demographic. He had conversations with every demographic. And what was going on with a lot of this dating advice is a lot of people will use extremes. They'll use, people who party all the time, or on the extreme is people who or people who was in the corporate world, or high fly jet setters and all that. Even though Kevin talked about a high value man, the people he dealt with was all up and down the what do you call that? The classes, lower, middle, upper. See, a lot of men and women wasn't doing that. They were either they were either talking about the low hanging fruit all the time, or the people you don't never see or rarely see in your life all the time. They wasn't even talking about the people in the middle. So a lot of people are in the middle, and what happens is how you get played is because you're in the middle and you're listening to people who are describing people who you feel are beneath you. So you too good for the people who beneath you. And now you listen to these other people who are telling you, feeding your ego, and you're like, you on this level, but you're not on that level. So now you too good for the people on your level. And then you're looking up, chasing people on this top tier that you don't never run into. So what does that lead you? Perpetually by yourself. Because you too good for your level. You too good for where you at. And you better than everybody who's not where you at. So if you were, and nobody like to use 7. So if you were 7 on a dating market, a 5 is beneath you. But somehow you think you deserve an 8, 9, or a 10, but you won't even get another 7. Because you just can't see yourself as a 7. It's like, oh, okay, this is what we doing. So what happened to that? People took advantage of it. People knew you were gonna do this. You know, people had books, people have speaking engagements, people have tours playing you because that was the best part of the day of giving bad dating advice. You can always blame somebody else. That was the issue. That's always been the issue. And the other issue is there was no balance. You know, I'm not going to say that I can't say there was no balance altogether, but I'm going to say there are less people who are balanced than others. Because you got guys who was talking about being a player. You know, oh, I got all these women. I get all these women. I'm gonna show you how to get these women. And it's like they ain't got it like that. They lied to you. They lied to you, and you bought into it. You know. So now you have a issue. You know, just like the ladies, you deserve this and you deserve that. They lied to you. And the worst part of this is, and this was always the simplest thing that stood out. People who know about dating and dating advice, they know a simple thing. There's a market of people who are looking for relationships, and there's a market of people who are looking for sex. Those are two different approaches. Two different approaches. So now we got an issue. You get what I'm saying? You getting bad dating advice because you looking for sex, but you want to hide it behind, I'm looking for a relationship. Or you want a relationship, but you want to hide it behind the approaches, I'm looking for sex. That's not the same thing. And that's part of the issue, because if you approached it like, if you're looking for sex and you approach it like I'm looking for sex, the people who telling you how to get sex, if you follow their advice, you'll get sex. If you're looking for a relationship, right? And the people who are talking relationship stuff, they'll teach you how to get a relationship. But since y'all wanted to, I want sex with this one and I want a relationship with this one. Give me 1 second. My bad. I got called right quick. So now we were at that point. Exactly. Solo said it best. If he don't post his L's, what you talking about? Because you posting everything else. And most people aren't posting everything else. Honestly, most people are like, here's the thing. A lot of the people that people are listening to, y'all don't know actually when they actually had a W or an L, because the stories they telling you could be from years ago. You get what I'm saying? The experience that they're telling you about might not even be their own. It might be somebody else's. You get what I'm saying? So the advice they're trying to give to you, they might not have actually tried it in real life. They might not have actually dealt with it in real life. And it's okay to learn from other people's mistakes. That's absolutely true. But the flip side of that is, how you gonna learn from people's success if you don't actually do the things that they did to be successful? If they tell you do this, this, and this, and you go, I ain't gonna do it, but I'm gonna tell you to do it. But since you didn't do it, we don't know if you got all the steps right. But you're gonna tell somebody else to do it, and you probably ain't gonna tell them the whole right thing to do, because you didn't listen all the way, because you wasn't gonna do it. So now, if you got some good advice, a good game from somebody, you probably wasn't paying enough attention to actually communicate that to an audience. So now it's a problem. So now we got a whole nother set of issues because a lot of y'all can't qualify yourselves. And see, and here's the other thing. Um, I look at it like, say, working out, right? You have, three different quote unquote body types, in the world as far as body types, to work out with. So either you got one of the three. So if you can't, if you a homebody, it's not a good idea to take advice from a ladies' man because you ain't out and about like that. You need to take advice from a homebody who've learned how to date. But that becomes the issue. Man, I appreciate that. Man, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate those words, bro. You don't know how much. Because sometimes I be not want to do this stuff anymore. So I really appreciate that. But we at that point where I could look at people and go, hey man, why don't you listen to this person? Sometimes if what kind of for the ladies and the men, what kind of, if you're a man, it's like, what kind of woman are you trying to date? Okay, so listen to this person because that they deal with women like that. Or ladies, what kind of man you trying to date? Okay, well listen to that person because listen to that woman because she dates men like this. Y'all was just listening to people who didn't fit who you was trying to even deal with. And it's like, yo, you got bad advice because you had a bad approach. You had, everybody's not the same. Like everybody has sex, but oh man, thanks again, man. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep going. Everybody got this. Everybody, gets in relationships. Everybody has sex and stuff like that when you get as an adult, but everybody doesn't interact the same. A lot of y'all, y'all didn't listen well. Y'all didn't listen well. Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of guys that's home because a lot of people is on the computer all the time. So if you're on the computer and you dating all the time, you gotta be a homebody. You get what I'm saying? Because people who just out all the time, they're not gonna be on the computer. You get what I'm saying? So there are a lot of people who were on YouTube who they would pop in and out because they was on the move, and there's a lot of people who were on YouTube a lot. And it's like, okay. And some of those people was always dating. So I knew their approach was a little bit different because like, oh, okay. I get it. I can say I was one of them guys. Because I would go out and probably leave going out early. Because I wasn't gonna I'm not gonna be out in the streets all night long. That's just not my thing. And I could come back home and just get online. But a lot of people weren't really living like they say they was living. So that becomes a whole nother issue. But what winds up happening is if you're not into dating like that, you could take it, you could take how can I say that? If you're not into dating like that, you're not gonna know what's a good and a bad thing. You get what I'm saying? Oh yeah. Yeah, but everybody ain't high value. That's what I said earlier. Everybody a lot of people are just ego driven. Everybody ain't high value. It's not true. It's a bunch of average people. It's a bunch of middle of the road people. That's what it is. It's a bunch of middle of the road people. So that becomes a whole nother thing. But like I was saying, what happened to the dating advice was, people realize, oh, this is easy. And what I mean by it's easy is it became easy to tell anybody anything. As long as I wrap it up in something that makes you that entertains you, I could tell you anything, and you wouldn't know the wiser. You wouldn't know the wiser. I could tell you, I could tell you how to be a player. You wouldn't know the wiser. Why I know you wouldn't know the wiser? Because, like I said, you wasn't participating in life like that. Not to mention, and I gotta say this, because you gotta take sometimes you don't just take into consideration the audience. You take it, you take into consideration what the content creator knows. And this is what I mean. A lot of content creators knew one thing for sure. Frame runner, thanks, fam. A lot of content creators knew this for sure. If you're a man, you knew there's a lot of men at home watching a lot of porn on their phone or their computer. And if you're a woman, there's a lot of women who watching porn and got sex toys. So a lot of people were satisfied, sexually by themselves. They can get themselves aroused and they can get themselves off. They didn't want to necessarily deal with somebody, whether it was out of convenience or out of fear. But people knew a lot of people was doing that. I get it. So now we're at that point where it's like the content creators know, oh yeah. These analytics say, yeah, I got the kind of people that ain't gonna go nowhere and do nothing, or the people that'll take rejection easily, or fear, or have a high fear of rejection, so they don't approach. And this is one of the reasons I'm saying this. You don't necessarily have to date to have a good time in life, and that was another interesting thing about what happened to dating advice. A lot of this stuff, a person who'll give you good dating advice and knows if you're a person who's not really going out like that. And the thing about it is, though, if a person knows that, they'll give you advice to go other places. Not even a date. Just go do stuff outside of your comfort zone that you might like. That's all. That's all you have to do. Like go he. I don't know where you'll go. I mean, you might go to, there's a place out here that's like an old school arcade, but it's just you drink beer. So or go to a game, or they got like run clubs. You know what I'm saying? They got a bike club. Like go do things. Go to a golf tournament, or go play golf, whatever it is. Right? Go learn sports or base. Go do something. Go do something that interests you, and along that way, you actually might meet other people. But people wasn't going to give you that advice. They was going to tell you to go places that you weren't comfortable going. If you're not comfortable at a game, don't go to a game. You get what I'm saying? Don't. But if you got a hobby, like maybe hey, I like I don't know, like a lot of people like comics and stuff. So it's like, go to Comic-Con. You're gonna run into people like yourself that are men and women. Who knows? You're gonna meet some friends. Yeah, of the same sex and of the opposite sex, and y'all gonna get cool. Somewhere along the line, you might meet somebody through that. You never know. But go do something that you're cool with doing. But people was like, nah, we're not gonna tell y'all stuff like that. We're not gonna tell y'all stuff like that. Because, like I said earlier, if I tell you something that actually works, you're not coming back to my channel. And a lot of people were, when YouTube became a business, for some of the big money makers, it became less diversified and more focused on a particular direction. Because it's like, what's the video that's making the most money? What topics is making the most money? What phrases are people catch it going, connecting with. And what happened was, you know, people just gave you the fluff that kept um that kept working. It might not have been good, it might not have been, real, but the fluff kept working, you know. Now they saying that, I believe you too. Because I'm about to say this, and it's so messed up that I got to say this. See, one of the issues with this whole dating thing, it was the racial issue. It was the Tyrone and the Chad and the Pookie and the Ray Ray and you know, she's giving this guy, this illiterate guy with a 37-inch schlong, all this attention, and you're just there being a good man, and she won't love you. She doesn't care about you. It's like, oh, okay, dog. All right, dog. All right, dog. Mm-hmm. So now, all these women is messing with, Michael Clark Duncan from the Green Mile, right? Okay, fine. White dudes, black dudes. It was always a black dude knocking the bottom out of everybody. So it became, it was. So you can always take that L because why would I talk to her? Because Mandingo is around here knocking the bottom out of it. He doesn't do anything. It's like, oh, okay, all right. All these women are thoughts, and they're just out here sleeping with all these guys. So is she sleeping with you too? No, because I'm good. Oh, okay, all right. That's what this is. So why you mad that she's sleeping with everybody else if you don't want her? You know what? You're not a masculine man. You don't know how to hold your frame. Okay, fine, whatever. Because that racial element, was really, for a lot of y'all who don't notice, the racial element and the thug element is really just a stalling tactic. That's all it is. A lot of the blame game stuff, it's not necessarily, it could be used as a warning to watch out for this, watch out for that, watch out for that. But usually it's really a stall tactic to get you still, in the loop of not actually participating in your own dating. And so you can blame it on somebody else. Oh yeah. That's why I said you just go live your life. I'm not a fan. I'm just I'm a fan of go live your life. Go live your life. Like, go do what you do. Because in all honesty, and it sucks to say this, and there's no nice way to say this. Let's just say, because this was a thing. It was a thing. If you look at a lot of relationship content, like if you really look at a lot of dating content in your own algorithm, you want a relationship, or you want sex on a regular basis, whatever it is. But if you're looking at it all the time, not all the time, but if you're looking at it, if that's the majority of what you're looking at, you got to know it's not helping you. It didn't inspire you to get out and try again, per se. It didn't inspire you to try something new. It didn't inspire you to try a new activity. It just had you sitting there watching and listening to people say why you shouldn't talk to the opposite sex. And you can tell the very people who are telling you this are talking to the opposite sex. You got guys out here telling you stay away from them thoughts, and they messing with OnlyFans chicks and sugar babies and strippers and club thoughts. It's like, stop it. You got women out here telling you you need to mess with a guy who has six figures and blah 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 blah, and she not, and you should get flued out and you should get wined and dined. She's just a side chick to a dude with money. She might be a side chick to multiple dudes with money. She might be a upper class pass around trying to give advice. So a lot of times people are catering to your fantasy. So it's like it becomes a whole issue. So now it's like, what happened to the dating advice? It's unnecessary. It's unnecessary because you're not really getting good advice. You're not gonna get good advice. Good advice it does not keep a channel running. There you go. But now you got so many people, um, and I say it this way: a lot of y'all don't realize, and I'm not saying this is a hustle per se, okay? But there are, if you notice people who talk about dating, they also in some ways talk about politics. If you notice that, when you think about people who've been giving you dating advice, they all a lot of them give you political advice. So why? Because those markets intertwine, not in a sense of how can I put it? How can I put it? Not in the sense of they're the exact same thing, but in the sense of you get their attention the same way. See, if I talk to you about red pill, it's easy for me to go into to I say it this way. If you talk to somebody about quote unquote red pill material, they're going to be on the conservative side of politics. If you talk to somebody who is quote unquote blue pill when it comes to relationships, they're going to be on the liberal side of politics, because you can't, you gotta, that's a way to get a bigger audience. You get what I'm saying? Right. You got, absolutely. So now you mix the two and you figure out, which market does this and which market does that. So me, I'm like, and I knew that for a very long time, because when I look at analytics, it would say that. I remember even me making videos and go, this is what people want to hear, because they keep gravitating to this. And I will make videos completely differently on purpose, because I don't, I have a lot of life experience and a lot of different things. So I wouldn't make the same exact thing back to back to back to back. But I could see if I make, I used to make like 3 videos a day, and they would all be on different topics. But if I made particular videos, I could see, the views went up because this is what people wanted to see. But I purposely didn't make that video again for a while. Other people gonna make it over and over and over and over and over again, because that's what works. But here's the other thing about that's what works mantra. You're gonna ride that gravy train as far as you could take it, and you're gonna get burnt out. See, that's also what happened to dating advice. People got burnt out about telling you the same thing over and over and over again, making the same video over and over and over again, making a different title for the same video over and over and over again. They knew it was going to give views. They knew it was going to make money, but they like, look, man, I can't. It went from being something very easy to do for a person to do something like they can do it without thinking, to, let me just get it out of the way because I do this all the time, to I'm sick of doing this. I'm really sick of doing this. Now it's a labor to get to do this stuff over and over and over again, but it pays per se. you know. So now it's like, so what happened to the dating advice? Yeah, a lot of that happened. A lot of that happened. And sometimes people got to live. Truth be told, people got to live. A lot of people was giving y'all dating advice that wasn't living at all. At all. They didn't have a life at all. So when you get a well-rounded life, you get back to it. You get back to it, you go, okay, I'm refreshed. And now, and it's weird to me, but it's the reality. Um, truth is, at this particular point, the relationship podcast and the relationship event is really the new nightclub. It's not even about the advice. It's about a lot of people's fake sob stories. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So a lot of other, it's a reason why, um, all of this stuff is the way it is now, because you remember, like we used to hear all of that stuff, and it's another thing. Appreciate that era because you made me. I forgot about that, but I got to talk about it. There was a point in time where people would talk about dating and relationships, and people would always bring up the racial aspect. Oh, but the white people don't do this, and only black men do this, and only you never hear Asians do this, and you never hear Hispanics do this, and you never hear Middle Easterners do this. And somehow, when they started seeing that people were making money doing relationship conversations, guess what they started doing? Like, think about. I'm gonna say this. and some of y'all might get it, some of y'all might not get it, especially for non-white people, right? I can literally say the black manosphere and some of the biggest people who were in the black manosphere, you know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for their success online, I don't think we would see all of these black podcasters, even the ex, even the celebrities and ex professional athletes. I don't think they would have gotten the podcasting if it wasn't for uh, um, people who. If it was just, I ain't even gonna say people. If it wasn't for like the black manosphere and the guys before the black manosphere, I don't think it would have happened. I really don't, because a lot of people who were celebrities and athletes, they looked at a lot of that content. A lot of They looked at it and it's like, oh, that's cool, that's cool. And it's like, you know what? And then people started making a whole lot of money, but it's like, wait a minute, because remember, a lot of people took a shot at it because of the ability to make money at it. Because they're like, yo, these people making a grip. That's kind of good money. So part of that, what happened to the dating advice thing was that's why you see a lot of your celebrities, you know, who are online and on YouTube. What is one of the major things they talk about? Relationships. Even if they really don't talk about relationships all the time, they'll interject relationships as part of the dialect. To keep the wheels turning a little bit. It's always like ominous in the forefront. It's just in the room, and all of these podcasts. Even the sports ones. So what happened was everybody just kind of bum rushed the joint and was like, well, I got something to say too. you know you know yeah, I got something to say too. He turned an outcast. The South got something to say, and it's like, all good, whatever. So now, and sometimes you got people who've been making content for years, like, yo, man, yeah, you mean to tell me these people just showed up 3 weeks ago? Now they got a gang of subscribers, and Oh boy, I gotta say this. I just realized I gotta say this. Oh man. Dang, error. I get to that. One of he says, dude, don't say nothing else because you're gonna make me go on this thing all day. I got to get out of here in like 10 minutes. Shout out to the Roger Report. He about to go live in like 30 minutes. Um, I gotta say this part. One of the other major things that happened to dating advice was, you're right. A lot of you men didn't really want to listen to the dating advice until a female said it. There's a lot of women who blew up on YouTube. Cool. And all they did was say the very things that brothers that a lot of y'all liked, but they didn't blow up. So if a guy had under, let's just say, I don't know, let's just say under 30 or 50,000 subscribers. All a lot of times a woman to do is just parrot that guy, and they don't necessarily parrot them all the way per se. But you get a cute woman, and she says the very same thing. Oh, you dudes was flocking over there, you know. I appreciate you, but you got me on that. Yeah, you got me. Uh, that's all they had to do was they had to parrot that conversation. And a lot of you fellas, you know, a lot of you fellas, y'all went over there, hook, line, and sinker. Oh man, she fine. And a lot of people was like, it showed because a lot of guys were quote unquote red pill. But if a woman started talking red pill, they got blue pill for her. Like, oh yeah, she talking my language. There's nothing wrong with that. But it kind of showed the hypocrisy of the dating advice of men. It's kind of like, I usually say this, like, let me say it this way. If there was a guy who women would be attracted to the same way they were attracted to Derek Jackson talking red pill stuff, I'm gonna tell you right now, these chicks are listening. If the dude if you had a dude, who I guess, was handsome and swole, staring in the camera, being eloquent about his red pill stuff and not, and just saying it, and girls will show up because, oh, yeah, he said, he would love it. Like, they would love the guy. As long as he fit the looks bill. And that's one of the big issues I can say with the red pill. It was like women weren't attracted to the guys who did red pill content. They didn't see guys who did red pill content as attractive, in a general sense. And that's also part of what happened to a lot of this dating advice. You got a lot of people, like I said, even the content creators were quote unquote unattractive and giving all this dating advice. And it's like, it became interesting. But for me, these are the things that happen to the dating advice market. And plus, this has got to go in there. Before I even go, this has got to go in there. Plus, the biggest issue with the dating advice market is still in existence right now, and it's female accountability. Like, we're never going to have an honest conversation about the dating market because everybody does not want to be honest about women's dishonesty. You get what I'm saying? So you can't really approach dating advice correctly because we're gonna pull that not all. I'm not like that. I don't know nobody like that. I ain't never seen that before in my life. You must be insecure. Who hurt you? That whole thing keeps going over. That little circular cyclical thing keeps going over and over and over again. So it's a problem. So because of that, the dating advice market is never really gonna ever actually be on good footing because there is no honesty in it. You know what I'm saying? There's one of these things where you over villainize the man, and you how can I say this? Let me see. And you over deify the woman. You know what I'm saying? So until that gets corrected, this is just going to be a cycle that happens over and over and over again. And that's for the most part. Sometimes why I just don't even look at it or listen at it or talk about it or talk to it, because it's like, man, listen, everybody knows what the problem is and nobody wants to fix it because, you know, there is no this is just like the pharmaceutical market. There is no money in the cure. Why fix the problem? Ain't no money in fixing the problem. You get what I'm saying? So I'm gonna leave it at that. I appreciate y'all, man, for rocking with me. Like, share, subscribe. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
This looks like a job for Superman.
Do this,
Spoken from the lips of the young or the old, fear of me.
Yeah. Gotta put it all in.
And they are Superman.
All the way. I guess I'm taking off the cape through the glasses in the trash. Being super is great, saving y'all is such a drag. Even God took a break. Me, I ain't coming back. I got one life to live. If you don't like it, that's your ass. Cause nobody saved me. Plus when I talk, I'm just a peon. I could use somebody just like I'm the Kings of Leon. This world is cold as ice, mixed with salt, mixed with Freon. They got me pissed off, but that's better than being peed on. For eons, human beings took kindness for weakness. When you constipated, you start to appreciate shit. Put before you life and death, and you just gotta choose. The kryptonite life means you should follow the rules. If your credit's messed up or your bills ain't paid, then it's getting disconnected. Can't nobody say the day. And I can fly, leave a building in a single bound, but I can't stand farewell to friends and I just fly around. My super friends is Justice League. Only folk I kick it with. Kill Lex Luthor, so what? We had to finish it. Kids play games and adults play for keeps. And me, I play to win, but I ain't playing in these streets. And life is not a joke. Then again, it ain't this serious. Superman can say the day, but God can say the Superman. Saga of the kryptonite life just ended. You enjoy listening? Man, I'll finish it. Lois, come holler at me. I got an ice couch. Thank you for coming out, listening. I knew you would like it because we made it. I'm so frigid and so fly.